So we do that every year, something different every year.
Inside her home in Northville, Michigan.
That's Rima's quote. Yeah.
Messages and mementos are all Rena Abbas Taylor has to hold on to.
Always remember how strong your love is, especially when things get difficult.
Of her sister, brother-in-law, nephew, and nieces.
The memories are everything, and not enough at the same time, because they were so real.
Rima Abbas, a doctor.
It was about helping people. That's what mattered to her.
Her husband, Aissam, a lawyer.
Fairness and justice were important to him.
Their kids, AJ.
He was kind of like a wise old soul, too.
Izzy.
She had a heart of gold.
Giselle.
We nicknamed her Jazz because she was like the music in our lives.
That music has faded, but the Taylors are making sure their memories never will.
It's all we have, so we protect and cherish every single one of them.
Around the holidays, walking in downtown Northville is like stepping into a snow globe. The Detroit suburb has a population of a little more than 6,000 people. The Abbas family was active in this community and remains well known here. And it was here they were driving back to, January 6th, 2019. Passing through Kentucky on their way home from vacation, when at 2:17 a.m. a drunk driver turned onto the wrong ramp at exit 113 in Lexington, driving nearly 7 miles south in the northbound lanes before crashing into the Abbas family's SUV.
An absolutely tragic story out of Lexington. 6 people are dead after a crash on I-75.
It's a bad dream.
I just cannot process it. It's hard to comprehend something like this.
This is one of those cases that stick with you throughout your career, and I can only imagine what the family is going through right now.
When you talk about family trees, for us it felt like we lost the entire tree. We didn't just lose a branch.
And as tragic as it was, that was just the start of a deadly stretch on Lexington highways. A WKYT Investigates analysis of state crash data shows 40 people have died in Lexington alone the past 3 years, and crashes where the driver has been suspected of drinking. Nearly half of those deaths came in head-on crashes.
What that shows me and others is that people are still making this choice because they don't realize the consequences that it'll have not only for themselves, but often for other people.
When she lost her leg after being hit by a drunken boater, Alex Oddie hoped she would be the last victim. She wasn't. That was more than a decade ago. Now Oddie, who lives in Lexington, is the national president of Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Driver monitoring cameras allow the car safety to take...
For years, MAD has been looking at technology to help prevent intoxicated drivers from taking the wheel.
So the drunk or otherwise impaired driver will get in their car and it either won't start, won't move, or will pull itself over once it detects impairment. The sober driver will never even know it's there. And so many of these technology options are already in new cars. They're just not being used for this purpose.
Advocates have been fighting for it in the halls of Congress. Now, the infrastructure bill signed into law in November will soon mandate it for new cars.
There are always going to be people that make this choice that just don't want to listen. And so our role is to ensure through this technology that the car won't allow them to make that choice.
The initial House bill calling for the technology mandate, filed by Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, was named for the Abbas family.
We always kind of just stop by here on our walk back, sit a little bit.
At a park just down the street in the Northville neighborhood these two families shared, friends have built a memorial bench.
It's a piece of them that will be here forever. It's a part of them that's still here. I think that's been part of also the healing that we've gone through, is these are the spaces where we still feel them.
Rena and her husband Tom come here daily, often updating these lost loved ones on their work with MAD in their memory.
We understand now what that pain feels like, and we just could not in good conscience have another family go through what we went through without trying to do something to prevent that from happening in the first place.
They know it's too late to save their family, but are confident in saving others because of them.
you have loved ones on the road and you're saying drive safe, that expression doesn't mean anything to us anymore, because you realize no matter how safe you are, you can't control what's outside of your control. And so I hope that 10 years from now, that expression means something again to us.
After the tragedy that touched this town in the shadow of the Motor City, now looking to the auto industry to prevent the next one. For all this land has to offer,
we got fields, mountains, streams, and even a registered cave system that goes under the property.
Rocco Besenyak bought it, 160 acres in rural Jackson County, with one thing in mind.
You can just feel the weight lift off your shoulders. You just automatically feel relaxed. You know, you can just decompress just being out here. And I knew this was a special place, and I want to be able to share it with other people.
Besenyak is a former police officer. He started Camp Hero in 2019 as a place for fellow first responders to escape. The silence here is a stark contrast.
And I could look back at specific dates and see.
To a profession punctuated by noise.
We're losing first responders, especially in the last 24 months with the pandemic. Just saying that I'm done. You know, I can't deal with it anymore.
Burnout and worse, post-traumatic stress, depression, suicide, all of it pointing to the increasing need for more mental health resources for first responders.
We always thought that it was just the military, but with first responders, we found through science that, you know, we deal with the same type of physical and mental issues.
But there's still a stigma, and officials say some first responders are hesitant to reach out for help. And this is personal to you.
I've lost friends to suicide because of the mental health. I've been there also in the dark place.
In 2016, as a police officer, he was run over, dragged 20 feet, and forced to medically retire.
That's when everything I've ever dealt with came to a head, and that's when I started dealing with the depression, PTSD, and everything, because I felt like that my identity was taken away.
Besenyak has since found a new way to serve and is now taking it a step further.
You could be around someone that you never even known, and within an hour you automatically just click. That could because you fought the same fight, you've been through the same thing.
Teaming up with the Nature Reliance School, hoping a new nature immersion program will help even more first responders take a breath of fresh air.
We've got the research backing us up that being outdoors is good for all of us. Those that are hurting, those that are taking care of us, we wanted to be a part of doing whatever we can do to basically point people back to nature, which is part of all of us.
Turning off the two-way and getting away from the noise for a while can do a lot of good.
You could just sit here and just listen to the water and just relax, look at the surroundings, look at the light reflecting off the rocks, look at, you know, the trees, and you completely forget everything that is stressing you in life.
A sanctuary to take care of those who often bear the burden and the invisible scars of caring for us.
People tell me all the time, you know, thanks so much, you don't know how much this has helped me. And I'm like, it's helped me just as much as it's helped you.